Yeah. Oh, hey guys. Welcome to the channel. Well, welcome to the stream. Welcome to another chapter. Another chapter working on that guy right there. That is our Ferrari F50 by Tamiya. It's a 124 scale model kit. I believe that we are on chapter 5. I think 5. I think it's chapter 5 now. Is it chapter 5? We'll find out after the break, okay? Run the intro and we'll find out. Okay, guys, we're back. We're back, and this is, in fact, chapter 5. 5, 5, 5, 5. It's here. 5. We're in chapter 5. Chapter 5, I'm working on this guy here. This is our Ferrari F50. You guys know, because you've been watching this little series, that I wound up having to strip the paint completely off of this body and reapply the paint. And so I don't remember now if the last time we were here together, if you guys saw that I had it coated in gray primer. After I did the gray primer, I wet sanded it just a little bit with like 8,000 grit sandpaper just to take any kind of dust particles out of it. And then I did a layer of white primer, this stuff. This is Mr. Hobby's white primer, and not this white primer. No, bye-bye. This stuff, okay? So I did late gray primer down, then I did white primer. After the white primer, another wet sand with some 8,000 grit, and then another coat of white primer, and another sanding, and then I laid down some white paint. And that paint happens to be this stuff right here. Mr. Color. This one is number 107. They call this character white. That's what it says. It's kind of hard when you're looking at these cans and you're trying to find the color, and everything's all in Japanese, except of course for Mr. Color Spray. But you find in this little bar here on the side, you'll finally find written in English your color. Okay? Yeah. So this one's character white, which is basically just, I think it's white without anything else in it, is really honestly what I think it is. And so I laid down a coat of that, checked it out, wet sanded that, another coat, let that dry, wet sanded it, and then I laid down 3 coats of our Tamiya TS13 clear. And voila, I have a white clear coated Ferrari. I'll change the camera, you can have a better look at it. Here we go. Okay, this is our Ferrari clear coated. It's not bad, right? Looks pretty good. Looks a heck of a lot better than it did before, that's for sure. Fairly smooth, laid down nice. It's not bad. I say it's not bad, but it's not bad, but it's not Ferrari quality. So we have to do some polishing, okay? I'm gonna grab some polishing compounds. I'm gonna have my Tamiya Fine and my Tamiya Finish polishing compounds. I think maybe it's just about time. Maybe after this particular kit is done, I'm gonna have to get myself some more of the Finish. Yeah, and we're gonna be using my little rotary tool here with a little sponge on it. And that's what we're going to be using, okay? Yeah, we're going to be using this to polish it up and get this nice and smooth and shiny. You know, I've been building model cars probably for the better part of maybe 40 plus years. And, you know, if I had $1 for every time that I polished a car body, I think I'd have probably about $4. I think so, probably something like that. So with that being said, I don't really have any business trying to teach you guys how to polish a car body. There's definitely other channels on the YouTubes that you can watch and get a lot better techniques and stuff than what I can show you, because like I said, I think I've polished maybe 4 or 5 at the most car bodies in my lifetime. And that includes doing both those Porsches at the same time. When I hit 1,000 subscribers, you guys know, you watch my channel, and when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I did a collaboration with my wife, and we both built a couple of Porsches together. Yeah, but I did the painting on them, and I did the body work. I did the polishing. So, yeah. With that all said and done, I'm going to get this off of here. This has had about a day or two to cure. So this paint is, it's to me a paint, to me a clear, and so it's had the time to cure. Unlike that stupid Rust-Oleum stuff where even after 3-4 days, it's still soft. Anyway, I do have my parts kind of taped together from underneath here, but I want to take them apart for the polishing, right? I had them like this so that when I paint the white, I get everything with an equal layer of paint on it. Because that's the whole reason why I had to redo this, was because I had nice, good, thick layer of paint, say, on the center piece, which made it a nice, bright white, but not quite enough on the rest of the body. And then I cleared it, not realizing that, and that sealed it all in, and that screwed me up. Anyway, so let's take this apart. It's all just held together with masking tape. So let's just peel that apart there. And then we'll go to the inside and peel our tape off. So our hood is going to want to go off on its own once I get the tape removed. There we go. This kind of comes out here. Go. And this will actually click in if I press down hard enough. I don't really want to do that. So there we go. And then, of course, our front bumper comes off. There we go. And just get rid of that. And that. And there's our body parts. It's kind of ironic. I painted the whole underneath of this black everywhere. And now I've got white overspray everywhere. Go figure. The white actually covered. The trim-clad primer really didn't want to cover anything. Means. How's it going? Welcome to the chat. So, because this stuff, especially using in a rotary tool, it has a tendency to splatter at first. I'm going to lay down a piece of paper towel on my desk, and I'm actually going to drape a towel over my legs here. And that's also why I'm wearing a white shirt today, because, well, it's going to hide the white stuff a lot easier. And when I'm all done here, I'll still look half presentable. Let's lay this down here like this. Get everything on top. That. I'll just leave my smaller parts off to the side. We're going to focus on the main body first, because of course, especially across the hood here, that's where everybody looks the most. So you want to have this as nice and smooth as possible. The other part you want to get really nice and smooth, of course, is the wing. Getting down in underneath here is not nearly as essential, but you want to get it smooth and what you can, right? And of course, the big flat, anywhere you got big flat areas, you want to get those nice and done. So we're going to start with the fine again. I'm actually going to change my glasses, because as I start to look closer at stuff, it gets blurry. I am getting older, and that happens. The doctor says it's normal. Yeah. So again, we're going to do this. I'll change the camera so you can get a better look at this and see what we're doing. So let's change the camera here and get this done. Get this started. Okay. So here we are. So I'm going to start with the fine. We'll put the finish off to the side. We'll do that later. Now, to me, it does have 3 different compounds, but I don't feel the need, unless I do happen to do like a really crappy paint job for some reason, and it's like super rough. But then if I got it that bad, I feel I could just wet sand with some 10,000 grit sandpaper, and that would be better than getting in the fine stuff. So I'm just going to do a few dabs here and there to squeeze some of this out. It doesn't want to squeeze out. What's going on here? We got some cloggage at the tip here. It's possible. Yeah, she's kind of solidified a little bit here. Let's get into the liquidy stuff. There we go. She just turned almost solid at the tip, that's all. Yeah, now she's pushing out. She's squeezing out good. Boink, 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 boink. There we go. That's probably way more than what I need, but that's a good start. We'll get this dipped in here and kind of get this, so try and minimize our splash. You could actually technically just do this and get in there, but we're going to use the rotary tool. That's the whole purpose of it, right? I'm going to try and make sure we get minimized. I'm going to put it on minimum rotation and try and minimize the splatter. There we go. Okay. So now we just don't push too hard, just kind of let the tool do its job and let that compound work its way in and buff that clear. If you push hard and you work through your clear, well, then you've done two things wrong. The first was not putting a thick enough clear coat. The second was pushing down too hard. That much I know. Like I said before, I'm no expert at polishing the paint, but I know the basic rules and some of the reasons why, if you have a failure, the reason behind it. Of course, it's going to be hard to get into these little intake holes at the front. Especially with a rotating sponge. Okay, let's have a look. Take my microfiber cloth and give this a bit of a wipe, see where we're at. Already that's starting to look a little bit better than it did, but we can use more. Something I did notice is I've got a bit of a crack in my body right here. She's separated here. That's not too great, but with the fact that I'm going to be pushing on this and everything, there's no point in even trying to glue that right now. I'll glue that together later. I might even put a piece of styrene inside here just to give it a little more strength. But because she's cracked all the way through, we got a big gap right there. See, the whole thing is cracked. So putting a piece of styrene just on the inside of this, if I can, I don't know. I've got to see how the engine goes in there, because we've got the firewall for the engine. This firewall just might go up into that little section there. And so if I put a piece of styrene in there, well, I'm going to have fitment problems. Anyway, let's get a little more compound here. And guess what I forgot to do? I said I was going to put a piece towel across my lap, and I never did. But fortunately, I don't have any. Actually, I do have. See, I got splatter on my shorts here. So, paper towel, or not even paper towel, real towel across my lap here to protect my clothes a little bit. Okay. Around here. Okay. I'd say the biggest challenge to polishing a Ferrari is all the bends and everything to get this thing, you know, the way they look. Seems like the top of my door is a little rough. So I want to get in on that, get that door shiny looking. And see as I go over the fender and I see the difference in the lighting and I see the reflection on it, I can see the nice polished nature of it. And then I get to the top of the door and I don't see nearly the same shininess. It's kind of same along across to the top of the hood here. I want to get that nice and smooth. I would say the nice thing about this whole thing, I don't have to worry about burnishing over top of emblems because there are no emblems on this car in this kit. The emblems all have to be added. Okay, let's have a look at that. Let's get this another wipe down. She is starting to look a little more shiny. You can see it's reflecting my lights a little bit nicer now than it did before. So it is getting smoother, right? You know, it's going to be hard to really see the difference unless I, you know, do a couple of still shots or something like that, like this. But it's got to stay focused for a still shot. Yeah. We compare that to, say, the shininess of this. This, although shiny, still you can see the light is like really, you know, diffused. It's not, definitely not polished. And this is still not perfect. I'm going to do one more round of the fine, particularly in this area here. Across the top, well, I should do it here too on our doors. I'm going to just do the whole thing. I'm just going to do a third round. Third round of the fine. There we go. All right. Let's have another look. I can really start to feel it squeak. When it squeaks, that tells me it's smooth. So squeaking is kind of a good thing. I think we're at a point where I'm probably ready to start on the finish on this. We're nice and smooth, right? The door's looking nice and shiny now. That looks a lot better at the top. This still needs a little work in here, in this area. This one needs a little work just right in here. And I kind of need to do more work at the bottom. But I'm at a point where I'm almost ready to do the finish. So I got to do the sides now, kind of focus a couple of different areas. And of course, don't forget the back. The back is important too. It's all just a big process and a little bit of work. there are guys who do this stuff by hand, and I really commend them for their patience, because, you know, I'm not really one to be doing body work, and simply I don't have the patience to work on something like this for, you know, a real length of time. And doing it by hand really does take a long time. This, get that in there. All right, let's have a look at this. It's not much shinier than the back here, which I haven't done yet, so I'm going to have to do again on here. Top of my door, how's this looking? That's looking a lot better now. I'm happy with that. That's good for the, that's ready for the finish now on that one. As far as the front of my hood, are you looking better? Still need some work here. This side seems to be okay. So I need a little work here. This top of the door, get this in the right angle. Yeah, she looks good. And as for this side, same deal as the other side. The top here looks okay, but we got to do the side. So we need to do this a second time with the fine. And then I got to do a little there. All right. This is the tedious task. Of course, I'll probably edit this video. We cut it down to 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes of polishing. All right, let's have a look. I think the side needs more work back here and inside this little divot. This is just inside here. Front of the hood here. She's ready for the finish. Yes. Okay. And finally, this side. It looks like it's par for the course on this. Now I've actually gone through the clear here and through the paint. So I've gone too hard there. Gone too much on this edge. But the rest of it still needs a third. Still needs a little bit of smoothing out here. And along this top where the door comes over here into this little groove, that needs more work too. And of course, my little spot here has only been done once, so that's going to need a second and a third. I think that's going to, it seems like that's par for the course. Every piece needs three rounds with the fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this up and doing all the rounds. Excuse me. I'm going to finish this up doing all 3 rounds with the fine, because it's already been half an hour doing this. I know in the video it's very short amount of time, but I'm going to come back having finished up 3 rounds of the fine on everything. We'll come back to do a round of the finish, and you can see that real different transition from the fine to the finish and see how it comes out. Okay, so I'll be back in a little while.
1 hour later.
Okay guys, we are back, and I have done all the work with the fine compound, and we're going to do the finish compound now. So let's change the camera. We're going to get into the finish, okay? So just a little recap. This is what we currently have now for the clarity and smoothness of our finish, okay? Oops, I got a little bit of compound on there still. So this is what we got. It's not super polished, right? It's close, but it's not that. It's not there. So we got to get into this, put some more on here, but we got to do the finishing. And I want to actually see if I can get, so I'm running low on this. See if I can fold this up here. Lots on there now, that's for sure. Tell you what. Okay, let's smear this around a little bit so I don't get too much flying everywhere. I got a lot on here, so this is gonna threaten to spray everywhere. Let's have a look. I find this stuff works too, like even just as I clean it up here, rubbing it with the cloth, with the microfiber cloth, it kind of polishes it as well. Just have to be careful with this because it's cracked there, and I don't want it breaking on me. I know, I mean, it's already broken, but you know what I mean. I don't want it broken more. Okay, I think my hood needs another round, and the top of my doors, I think, need another round. This door actually looks really nice across here. This one just needs a little bit of extra in here. And my hood is not where I want it to be yet, so we're going to do another round on it. Okay. How about the side? My side also. Yeah, the side needs another round. The whole thing needs another round. All right, let's have another look. This door looks better now. Good, I'm happy with that. Side. This side's nice and shiny now. How's our hood? I think our hood is almost where I want it. I think a third round on the hood is what's going to get it to that point where it's almost like glass. So we are very close. In fact, just a little bit of a buffing, I think. We're almost there. We got to do this side and we got to do the bumper, the rear bumper. Our rear bumper is still almost looking like flat. It's almost like flat. It's not even really shiny. You're not seeing any real reflection on it because I got a lot of work to do on that. But we're almost there. This side's done. The top of the doors are good enough. The hood is almost there. You can see it's much more polished and looking nice, right? So yeah, we're almost there. We're almost there. I think one more round actually will get me at the point where I'm really happy with it. One more round, I think, will do the trick on the hood. Again, the hood, I think, is now polished enough that I can call it done. It even feels smooth. I'm trying to get under there so that I can actually press down and kind of buff it. Now our door. And yeah, just although the top here, this part here is good, that's fine. It's this section that goes all the way back here. This all needs a little bit of another round, whereas this side is now, that little section is nicely, it's almost there. I actually want to do this side again, just in this little strip and in here. So yeah, we're going to do that. We'll do this side and we'll do the bumper. The bumper, I think, is probably going to need like three rounds on it. But I'm happy with the hood. There's our hood, okay? There's our finished hood. I think that looks really, really nice and beautiful. And of course, that's the focus on the car, really. So it's got to go along in here. All right. Door. I think our door is polished up to the point where I don't think I can get any smoother. Not without burning into the paint. I'm already kind of starting to burn through into the plastic there. I burned through, and at the front here just a little bit. Okay. A couple of spots like that I've already gone through, so same on this side. A little bit along the bottom there. We get to there. Now I can chalk that up to, you know, this car's been driven on the road and it's white, and white cars get dirty. This section along here looks a lot better. We're still a little bit rough in here, but if I try and get in this little triangle, I start wearing out on the edge here. So that's kind of, and that's detrimental. I'm not trying to wear the paint out. And so that's kind of the problem. This section of the bumper, we're going to have a look. I think I'm going to have to go 3 times on the bumper to get it glossy as the rest of the car. I mean, this section looks really nice. This section's good there. I think actually only one more time on the bumper is going to be needed. Yeah, this side needs a little bit of work. You can see if I get it's hard to get this to focus at the same time and show you guys at the different angles and get the light coming off of it to show you just how shiny or not shiny it is or how unshiny it is. But put another little bit on here. I get to a point where when I'm rubbing it with the cloth, it feels almost like it's squeaky. And I know that's super, super smooth. Like if you can hear that. Can you guys hear that? Yeah, that's like squeaky plastic, squeaky clean plastic. So if it's making that sound, I know I'm on the right track. And I think that's good enough for a rear bumper. Yes. So I'll let you guys in on a little secret. I already did the rest of the car with the finishing compounds, so the rest of it's already done and already looking like glass and all these things. So let's put all this back together and have a look at it. This is where it gets a little tricky. Our hood has to go in kind of like this, and this has to kind of tuck in at the same time, fit down. Here we go. Here we go. And then this guy goes on top. Kind of like that. And that's what we get. And of course we have our front bumper. It's going to go in like this. I can get it lined up. There we go. Okay, guys. That's what we got. We have one polished white Ferrari F50 now. And I have a lot of dried compound on my shirt. But that's why I wore this particular shirt, because I didn't care about getting compound all over it. So, that's it, guys. That's it. Okay? So, we're going to continue on this next time. I want to thank you guys for watching. That's it for my body polishing video. She's looking pretty good. I got a couple of spots where I almost burned right through to the plastic. Just on a little tiny spots back here where the wing connects. But that's okay. It's all right. She's looking really nice. She's looking pretty fancy. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you for joining me on this little journey. If you haven't already, check the description box below and you'll see links to my other stuff like my Twitch and my Instagram, and you can check those out where I upload pictures of stuff that I finished every time I finish one of these projects, I take a bunch of pictures of it and I upload it to my Instagram. And I'm starting to do more on my X channel. But yeah, it's still, the X is still kind of like, I'm not used to it. So I don't get it even in my head. Oh, I got to upload to that also, right? So yeah, anyway, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, guys. And yeah, hit the like button. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you feel about this stuff. I love to read your comments. And you know that I also reply to them. You guys should comment. So, yeah, thanks again for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.